we got to get down to the nitty gritty. Obviously, you guys love each other. You found love. We're thrilled by it, but we like to answer questions that people have.
Yep.
And there is a moment in the middle of this where we're kind of like, Dale, what's going on here? Things seem a tad shady. And I said it. I said it on my, like when I did, and no like real shade, but just like, I'm talking about the way that it seems. So we see you and you said it like, and it clearly hearing the connection that you have, I get why you were like, well, I feel like I'm the best suited. That was a comment that you made.
Yeah,
well,
no, that was a
obviously,
we'll see, because guys take
yes. So I'll let you go through this. Explain why, one, you said that you felt you were the best suited to talk to Clare first. Please explain the group hug. Hated it. Sorry. I want you to explain why you were dazed and confused, wandering into the room that Clare was in.
Rundown.
With poor Jay. Poor Jay, who constantly got stepped over.
So this is so when I look at that and I feel like watching it back, like if there's one thing I would have handled a little differently, maybe would have been that situation. But after the Yosef incident and Clare had to deal with all that,
yuck, may I just say
a lot. I'm very protective of Clare. I was from the get-go, and so even understanding that verbal abuse and some of that aggression, like it immediately sparked in memories of my sisters. I have 4 sisters. I'm the only boy, and all the women in my life have dealt with physical or emotional abuse in some way, shape, or form. And I've been the one who's always had to pick up those pieces. And, so for me, and also, there was a lot of drama about guys cutting and showing up on other people's dates and all this stuff. And what you'll see and realize, I wanted to get out in front of it right away and say, hey, this is what I want to do. I want to speak with Clare first. If it's 5 or 10 minutes, I don't care. But I want to see her first. The group hug thing was like a little bit like corny, whatever. In my mind, I didn't even think anything of it. All I was thinking about was Clare. And if any instance, even if it was over the top and made her feel loved, I don't care. And just naturally in my day-to-day, I do a ton with community building, events in the wellness space. It's just love. So while it comes off a certain way, I don't care, because I just wanted her to feel overly comfortable and just know that she was the focus. Obviously I spent a lot more time with Clare than 5 or 10 minutes.
It's hard though, in all fairness.
No one showed up. I don't even know where these other guys were at.
That's the thing. You know how usually a guy will come in and, can I steal you? Can I steal you?
No one was there.
There was.
Because you guys were hiding in the president's suite. No one could find it.
I've never been there before. I didn't even know where, I was like, but there's a time in the video where I'm getting up and you're like, what are you doing?
I don't know. I just felt like
you don't need to
also
rush.
It went like that. It really went like that. Yeah. And in all fairness too, that was the night where I thought I can have a long period of time with each guy. Yeah. And so him being the first guy, I thought, great. The next guy I'll have a long period of time with. The next guy I'll have a long period of time with. And each night, truthfully, I made a conscious effort, even though it wasn't shown, I made a conscious effort to go above and beyond to give these guys time, to spend time with these guys. And even if it was a limited amount of time that we had together, I was completely present. There is not like each and every guy, I can tell you extensively stuff about their childhood, about their growing up, where they live, their jobs. Like I learned so much about every single guy and spent a lot of time with every single guy. Granted, that was a lot of time with him.
But I just thought, up until that point,
I thought we were going to have a lot of time.
There were 4 or 5 guys who.
But why were you dazed and confused? Explain that. Explain the dazed and confused. I want to give you an opportunity to explain why.
Her kissing.
Her kissing
just.
Yeah, I want to give you an opportunity to explain it.
Oh, I was sprung after I left with Clare. I was like,
the second time.
Oh, the second time when I came back. So what you'll see. The guys started arguing, I think Riley and Ed. If guys were arguing, I didn't even want to sit on I didn't even want to be in it. So I'd always get up and leave. Yeah. And I just got up and left and I was chilling for a little bit. And then I was like, well, I'm going to see if Clare or someone's somewhere. So me walking through, I didn't know Jay was in there. I didn't even know they were going to be sitting that close when I opened the door. And then they were there, you know? So I was like, hey, I can give you some time, whatever. Come back
Claire
and sit down.
said, come on over.
Come on over.
I'm not going to deny that, you know, or deny time with her. And, you know, coming back out of it, you know, I was sticking on some things that guys were trying to say that I had this plan in my head and this malicious intent. I was like, y'all were arguing. I went to the restroom, couldn't stand there anymore. And then I was like, I'm just going to go find Claire. It was like an impulse thing. That's who I came to spend time with. So
see, if you had said that, I think people would have accepted it more. Like, I went looking for, like, I'm here for Claire.
Even I was cringing, thinking, like, watching it back. I was like, oh my God. And then it comes back, just own it. You don't have to keep peace with everything in every situation. If you try to make everyone happy, you just end up hurting the people you love and care about the most. And that's exactly what that situation was. I had respect for the guys. I didn't want to step on their toes, but also, like, I was at a point I could no longer, like, cut into time Claire and I had, and I wasn't willing to, but you can't make everyone happy. And also after that point, and, you know, the night, but also during filming and everything, I said, if I was resonating here, I'm here now, because I'm no longer worried about the opinions of everything else. Like, it's just, as long as Claire's happy, that's all I care about.
In all fairness, I will say this too. When he came in, and like you just said, Rach, like, he came in and it's easy to watch it on TV, I think, but in the moment it was, I'm in a jacket. It's probably 115 out at that point of the night.
Late. I slept for 18 hours.
Hold on, let me finish. Like, you're tired. And on top of it, I started to have anxiety because it was like one guy after another. And it was almost like, at that moment, I was feeling overwhelmed by the conversations. And then, so at that point, I was already really, really comfortable with Dale. And so when he came in the room, it was like, almost like a little bit of a relief, a breath of fresh air that was like, okay, you know, and like you see your sister walk in the room and you're like, okay, I can calm down, or like, okay, this is going to make it, you know, a little bit of a relief from that anxiety. And it wasn't, Jay wasn't giving me anxiety, but it was almost like, it was just
overload
in that moment.
Sure.
It was overwhelmed. And it was like, oh, it's nice to see him, you know, because we had just a really good time.
That was late.
Yeah. And it's such a fine line to walk, like that. I don't think viewers always realize is like, you as the lead and as the Bachelorette, like, you're trying to give all of these guys enough attention and like be invested, but also like you have this relationship that you know is like really solid and forming. So you of course want to spend your time with them, and like vice versa for you, Dale, as a contestant. I mean, like, you seem to get along with the guys. Like, you were close with a lot of them in the house, but at the same time, like, you were there for Claire. At the end of the day, like, you were there to find love in her. And so it's a difficult balance, like, on all sides. But Dale, I want to ask you, was it difficult to maintain friendships when you obviously knew you were a very high up front runner with Claire, and that, like, you had caught her eye and you were getting more time and attention from her? Was it difficult to maintain those friendships? But then also, like, have they now been supportive since the news of the engagement? How has that been?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it wasn't difficult at all for me personally. And I have so much respect for all the guys, and there's been nothing but love and support. I said to each and every one of them, like, I learned so much about Claire through the other guys by listening and asking questions, you know, time when we weren't together. And I think, you know, certain things can be shown and people might have an opinion, but there were like hella great guys there. And I think there's just a lot of love and respect. And, you know, that might've been why some of the drama scene was so intense the way it was, because we all had those relationships, and for something to come off and think that there was cruel intention, would definitely sting and hurt a lot. But I have a great relationship with them. You know, I think it's respect across the board, and they all get it, especially that's something that we all went through, and it's a unique situation for everybody.
Here's how you tell, Del. Are you in the group chat?
I am in the group chat.
That's all you made it in. Know. That's all you have to say.